Back up. Part two of the Canon R6. We are coming up. We are up on Twitter, up on YouTube, up on Facebook, waiting on Twitch, and LinkedIn is up, waiting on Twitch. Just waiting on Twitch so we can get back to it. We just waiting on Twitch. All right, Twitch, we're back up. We can get back to it. We just finished our reboot, and we have the Canon R6 the Canon EOS webcam utility installed. So now we're going to move over to making sure that we can get the webcam utility working. We're going to try and use it as a plug-in here inside of OBS. As a matter of fact, why don't we try it on this window right here? So if we do a desktop share, you can see I'm in OBS now. Here's my desktop. Let's try. I should probably be looking at some instructions. I'm just going to freestyle though. Since the software is installed, I'm imagining it's going to show up as an option to select if I choose a video capture device and then choose that camera. So video capture device 2, we're going to call it Canon EOS Web. There's, all right, the device. Let's see, I don't see EOS Webcam Utility Pro. You see that right there? Choose that. Looks like that has chosen the Canon. Let's make sure the Canon is plugged in. I'm using a Sony cable on it right now, so that might be a problem. Might have to take and get a regular image on there. Oh, shiggity. There we go. And look at that. Canon colors, man. That's sexy. That is sexy. It's blurry, but it's going to be sexy. Watch. It's going to be very pretty, baby. Very pretty, baby. Let us see what we can do to get some focus in here. Boom. Is this on autofocus? It's on autofocus. Do you keep your camera on autofocus, babe? No. Okay. And it looks like the image froze on me. What's going on? What's going on? Did it disconnect to reconnect? That's not pretty. So for some reason, the EOS webcam utility does not look like it's doing great. Let's look around a little bit. Okay, it dropped off. Let's unplug the camera, plug it back in, see what happens there. So we had an image and we lost it, right? Maybe what we'll do is we'll update the firmware on the camera first, since we have a new version of the webcam utility, right? New version of the webcam utility. Usually when you have new software, you want to make sure that your hardware, the software inside of your hardware, so the software inside the camera is up to date. So we're going to try and do the firmware update now. So I'm sure I downloaded it to my downloads folder. Yes, I know I got 1,000 windows open. We just talked about that. Don't why you on that old stuff. R6 Mac DMG. That is the package for the webcam utility. We can delete that now because we have it installed, right? Actually, keep the zip just in case. I like to keep the zip for stuff like this, just in case, say I'm traveling somewhere and I don't have internet access and I need to get it back up and running for some reason. Don't try and make sense out of it. And I already deleted both of them. Oh well, don't care. Let's move to the next. EOS R6170, that is the firmware. Hopefully there's some instructions on how to do a firmware update on here. I may go look this part up just to be extra careful. Temperamental hardware and temperamental devices. Blah, blah, blah. You see my computer's still starting back up, so everything is moving really slow. I should probably be waiting, honestly. Okay, update procedure. There we go. I knew there'd be some. I was hoping there'd be some instructions in here. English. Are you looking at me? You're looking at me. You're not looking at my screen. Let's let you look at my screen, but not at that part of my screen, obviously. Interchangeable lens cameras. Blah blah. Firmware update preparation. Camera, dedicated battery pack. The battery pack must be fully charged or dedicated AC adapter kit. I know her battery is not fully charged. Let me go grab another one of her batteries, but let's see if there's anything else I need. Memory card, yeah. Okay, use the card reader to update the camera's firmware. Use ES utility to update the camera's firmware. This method, okay, so there are two different methods. We can use the EOS utility or the card reader. Let's see what we have inside that folder. There is firmware, but no utilities. So that means if we're going to use the EOS utility, we need to do it this way. Give me a sec here. I'm going to go back to where we have it downloaded. This Canon folder here. Let's unzip this. This is the EOS utility. It's probably going to make me reboot again. If it does, pardon the pain. Let's restore that zip file so that we have that for later while we're waiting, right? So go back. Go back. Why are you taking so long to put back? Yeah, my Mac needs some love right now. Yeah. I got too much going on right now. As you can see, I got 1,000 windows that open up whenever the thing starts up and all that. So I got work to do. All right, there we go. It's unzipped. Let's get the zip file up. Let's look back through the instructions while we're waiting for the zip file to open up. All right, we don't want to use the card reader, so we're going to skip that. We're going to use the EOS utility. That way we don't have to go over to the camera to physically touch it to update it. Hopefully. So camera's connected. Oh, it's telling me I'm going to have to format a card. Babe, do you have empty cards? Oh, your cards have something on them? Okay. Oh, and it's funny. It says for some cameras, they don't accept the utility. All right, let's see what's on this bad boy. We're gonna find a card first, and we'll go from there. I guess you can sit with me if you want. Maybe I don't know, what can I do to keep you entertained? Nothing. Just sit there for a minute if you don't mind, please. You're hanging out, right? By moving the mic this time, I won't disconnect this. I'm going to pull the camera in front of me. Might as well come back. You can see the camera right here. This is the culprit. Need some of that TLC today. You know what's funny is by the time I'm done with this, I'm pretty sure the batteries for the Sony will be ready to rock. But we'll start where we finish, right? We'll finish where we start, whatever. Silence. Silencio. So we need to, I see there are no cards in here right now, so I need to find a card real quick. Bear with me. Babe, can you hand me the card thing? Please, thank you. Thank you, thank you. See, this old Samsung card is one I'm sure I can use. Let's just look and see what's on it. This part might need to be private. Stop laughing. He's not funny. Okay, that's upside down. Let's get the card in here. And you know what? This installer is ready to go too. Let's just show you guys the installer. There's the Canon installer. And I guess it's downloaded from the internet. I know I downloaded it from Canon's site, so I'm gonna run with it. USA, United States. Start installing, close any other applications. I'm not closing anything else. I should, yeah, right, I'm sure, but it's not what's happening. It's probably gonna make me restart again. Again, please don't look at my password. I know my password is all dots. You got me. Alright, so that's installing. Let's look and see what's on this card. I want to put you on me for a minute just in case this card has some things that you don't need to see. So you can be with me for a minute while I scroll over here. And oh, it's just a picture of Zinni on there. Cool. It's also got an M4 root folder on there. That's interesting. That means it was used on my Sony at one point in time. It's got some images in there. Looks like some of my first images before I got some real cards for the Sony. I know I had to get new memory cards for the Sony when I first got it, so looks like some of my first video shot once I got the Sony. It's kind of cool. This might be my first images ever shot on the Sony. Okay, nothing to keep there. Let's see what the second one looks like. Oh, Zinni. Look at him. The camera's great, man. Sony gets you a pretty image. See, I think all of this is safe for you to see. But let's see if I need to just keep any of these. This could just be me pack ratting again. It's just me catching images to Zen. First got it. That's pretty. That puppy's beautiful, man. Let's see. 4. I'm just skimming through. It's a 2-second clip. This one here is a gig. This looks like it was just me walking around the bedroom, walking around the house. Oh, okay. So I'm glad I wasn't sharing that. Very glad I wasn't sharing that. That you guys probably saw a treat on my face. So let's look at one more just to make sure. Okay, sorry. Hmm?
What is on that card?
Oh, just junk. Just stuff. I'm so glad I did not choose to just go through this card.
I don't even want to know.
Hi, sweetie. How you doing? All right, so we're gonna copy these and dump these to my temp folder, just so I can go through them. Sure, I'm not gonna need them for long. Sure, most of them are gonna be junk. So let's just file, new folder, temp. Okay, so temp 2. First, Sony vids. 16 items here. Well, they're all moving. That is going to take about a minute to move. As soon as that's done, we're going to wipe this card. And actually, we'll wipe it inside of the Canon probably. Okay. All the software, Canon software is updated. Let's come back here real quick. I can go back to the desktop share for a minute. Looks like all the Canon software has been updated on here. So we'll click next and finish. Yay, it didn't ask me for a reboot, so appreciation for that. We can now close this, and since we're on the Mac, let's do a little bit of cleanup. I know, like you do, you're not cleaned up to begin with, but let's see, we can close that. Of course, we can't because we don't have everything closed. It looks like we can close that. Let's see. We can close the firmware update utility. No previews using that because we're reading from it. This we can close. That's the installer for the Canon utility. And this card right here. Let's see if we can just put it inside of the Canon and wipe it. So I'm going to eject that card, bring it back to me, and let's put this on the Canon. Open up the chute over here. Take out the card since I just ejected it. Drop it into the Canon. And let's turn her around and turn her on for him. Let's see. Let's go to menu. I really need these glasses, these spectacles. Oh, that's not much better, to be honest. So our menu button is, excuse me, right there. And navigate through the menus is definitely different. Okay, so image quality, playback info, reset communication settings. I don't know how to get up and down on the menu here yet. This is going to be interesting. Okay. Use the little wheel here. Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, airplane mode. I just want to get to format card. There we go. So format card. We've only got card 1 in here. All data will be lost. That's fine. All right, card is formatted. So says you format the card and then you can do the firmware update. Let's see what happens here. Gonna plug the camera back in. Actually, hold on. Let's look at the instructions and see if we can just use the card. On what's better between the card and this. Now that I had to go through all the trouble of doing something with the card anyway, and it's saying you may not want to do it the other way. Let's just do it this way. So copy the firmware to the card. So initialize the card with the camera. We did that. We just initialized it or formatted it. Insert the card into the card reader and copy the firmware to the card's root directory. So we're going to, again, pop the card out. Probably should have turned the camera off first. All right. Card into the laptop. So let's go get this firmware. The firmware is here. I'll copy it, drop it on here, right at the root of the card. See how Canon set up their folder structure. So we got the firmware on there. Let's eject that card now. US Digital. Back to the instructions. Remove the card from the reader, insert it into the camera, turn on the camera, and set the shooting mode to P. So 1. And let's set the card camera shooting mode to P, which is program. Card is on P. And let's see what we got for our next instruction here. Next instruction, remove the card from the card reader and turn the camera's power on. Set shooting mode P. Press menu to display the menu. All right, so power on, menu, select firmware. It does not give me an option here. Okay, so this is useless so far. I don't see this firmware option. Let's see. I feel like I'm gonna have to learn how to use this camera. I was actually hoping to hold off on having to learn a new camera anytime soon, because my focus is on trying to. Not trying. My focus is on generation right now. Prepare for generation. Okay, I don't see anything in here about firmware. Oh, there we go. Got the firmware thing. Setup tab on the menu. Let's just see. There's a firmware button. Current firmware is 140. Update firmware. I'm not. So the instructions in there were no help. I had to find a completely different menu. Actually, it's different from what they have on there, but I found some instructions that work, get me to the same point. So it's updating now. It might be updated. Why did it update that fast? Firmware. Update firmware. Okay. Loading. Hit the wrong button a second ago. Let's see if I can get you guys to see this on the screen. Maybe this will be helpful, right? I want to learn how to move between scenes using hotkeys too. That's a good question, babe. Let me know if you figure that one out, because I don't think I'm quite up to snuff for figuring that out yet. All right. I can't zoom with this. So I'm going to try and bring the laptop closer. Hopefully you can see this. I feel like I need to take it off the tripod. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so glare is a bit of a pain. So if we hold it in this hand, maybe we get rid of the glare. This is going to be the hardest thing I've had to do all day. Let's go back to menu, and I'm going to show you how I got here to begin with. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so I hit menu. You see it's already on firmware. It's on the 5th page of the maintenance or settings page, because you can see that by the little screwdriver icon up there. Use the wheels on the camera to go back and forth between the pages, as you can see. Now on the settings maintenance page, there's a tiny wheel up here. I don't know what it's called, but that tiny wheel is how you can go between the different individual pages under here, the sub pages. So I'm on sub page 5 for the maintenance menu. And if I want to choose the firmware update setting, you can scroll up and down through the options using the little jog dial here, right? So I'm going to go to firmware and hit OK, which is our set. And I see the firmware version is 1.4. The version I downloaded was 1.7. So let's hit set. And it's saying current firmware version is 1.4. Update firmware. Yes, we want to update it. So OK. And here we go. Loading the firmware. Update program. It's going to load and show we got version 1.7 on here. We're going to hit the set button or OK again. So please select new firmware version. Hit set. Update firmware from 1.40 to 1.70. Yes. Hit the scroll the little dial over there. So we hit OK. Hit set. And updating now. Warning, do not turn off the power switch or touch any buttons. You can trust that I won't be doing that. I'm just going to stand here and wait for it to be done. I'm probably not going to keep it sitting here on screen if it's taking this long. It says it's 0% right now. I'll probably set it down and we'll come back to that in a moment here, right? while we're waiting for that, I guess we can do some of the getting it together stuff, right? It is still at 0%. Let's see what we got for getting it together this morning. I had topics, but I'm not getting into any of those topics today because those are things I want to take a few minutes to talk about. So we are going to just go back to one of my normal screen shares where I use the Brave browser. Where's Brave? Brave, Brave, Brave. Brave, Brave, Brave. Let's try this other one real quick. Okay, definitely don't want the roadmap one, but we do want to look into that. Check out Rap Mints. Get familiar with Rap Mints. I'm about to be getting real familiar with them. Met some of them on a call yesterday. Some of the folks that are involved in that project, and yeah, hip hop coming together on the blockchain. Respectable, appreciated, means a lot. All right, let me get my window sized appropriately so we can get busy. Just move that over there so I can see what's happening here. A little bit further back. And we want to drag down, right? So let's come up and down. That firmware update is at 3% right now, in case you're wondering. So you see it definitely takes a while. I kind of wish I had double checked the battery capacity before I got started. I should have done that, just in case Canon didn't code it properly so that it would gracefully shut down if it ran out of juice or if it came close to running out of juice. But we're gonna trust Canon for a moment. I know, bad call, right? No, we're not gonna put that in there. All right, looks like our window's big enough. So let's go scroll over to our window for getting it together in Trello. Come on, Trello. I catch up with Mizzo later on to do that. But Dragon's Pitchfork workspace and Trello, getting it together. Let's look at our template. Gratitude. We're at 20%. It's moving kind of fast. Gratitude, man. We know what I'm grateful for. Always start with my loved ones. Start with Yanni and Zen, daughter, son, family. Move on to my health, opportunity, peace of mind, the lessons that I've gathered across my travels. I'm gracious and grateful for all of those. Having a roof over my head, warmth, food, um, the list goes on. I'm infinitely grateful. Yesterday, what did we do? Yesterday, I had to color the blockchain meeting that was dope. We got about 10 of us on the call, including Veda from Blankets to the Streets, and we're showing. We got some really dope ideas, some really dope plans. I don't want to give up too much on that because we're supposed to be moving as one, and I want to make sure that before I start communicating, that I'm communicating what we've agreed to communicate first. Team. What else did I do yesterday? Got out in the woods with Zenny and Yanni. It's the first time we got a chance to get out there all together for a minute. Usually it's, each of us have to kind of go out on our own missions because we've been on different schedules as she's been wrapping up her yoga teacher training. Congratulations to her again. She's about to get that cert paper in the mail any minute, any day now, or in the email, whatever. She's about to get it. What else did we do yesterday? Grayskull call last night. It was a beautiful chance to hang out with the family, with the squad. Young Reese got on the call with us, man. We got to hear some beats from him. Young and got some beats, man. He's got beats. He's not only a dope engineer, he's got beats, and he can rhyme. Reese can really rhyme too. He's nice, man, and he understands the value of team and what it means to play a position on a team. How you can't just be all about yourself, and I like that and appreciate that about him. So it was good to catch up with the squad, catch up with Reese. We made some decisions last night that I'll be telling you about more in coming days that I'm excited about. And I don't think this was yesterday. It may have been. Yeah, it was yesterday. Introducing Miguel to from the Cardano from Emergo in the Cardano space. Introducing him to Enoch Kaz. Enoch is a dope brother who's putting in a lot of work on the autism front, especially for adults. He's about to do something very special. He's already doing some special things with Full Spectrum Fridays or Full Spectrum Saturdays, which is a Twitter space he hosts for you know to open up space and create spaces for people who are, I hate using the term, but I'll say it, neurodivergent, um, or who identify as neurodivergent. He's got big plans for next year, and it looks like there'd be a spot for me to play a role in that as I learn more about myself in the process. So I'm excited for that. The meeting yesterday between them was amazing, and we've got some big opportunities, I think, to work toward together. And I'm always excited about the opportunity to try to do something new and different and special and meaningful to someone other than just myself. Always looking to do some things for myself, but I really get most excited when it comes time to do something that maybe somebody else appreciate too. That means my time on this earth wasn't just spent looking at what I've already got, me. Um, but yeah, today, today's since on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I try to take it somewhat slow during the daytime because I have those late night calls. I got Grayskull on Wednesday nights, which can sometimes have guests. Sometimes it's just the crew coming together and checking in, kind of seeing where we are. Thursdays is Gray Space. That space can sometimes be emotionally taxing if we touch on some heavy subjects in the evening. So I like to take Thursdays as slow as possible. It's honestly supposed to be date day for Yanni and I. We've been slacking on that the past few weeks, so we're gonna have to get that back in contact or back in play. I've got to catch up with somebody else this evening too. But between Wednesday and Thursday night, Wednesday night and Thursday night, I try to take it as slow as possible so that I'm rested and available for Thursday night for Gray Space. That's our community night where we open up space for everybody to come and talk about the heavy stuff if they want to. We can stop the recording if anybody needs it, whatever. But we're recording so that we can help show the world how we, as men, especially black men, come together and talk about some of these hard topics that are not easy to approach amongst other men and especially amongst other black men at times. Um, we're working on finding ways to do that, especially for people who aren't interested in talking to counselors or anyone for any form of professional help. So, um, taking it slow today for Gray Space. Before we get on with any more of the getting it together stuff, before I get on with any more updates, because there probably won't be many more, the camera just finished the firmware update and I want to show you where it's at. So, bing, 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 let's bounce back. MacBook camera saying update is complete, if you can see. So let's just hit OK, and I'll keep it on here in case you need to see what happens. So update complete, camera goes off, just goes back to the regular screen. Let's verify that firmware update is done by going to menu again. There you go, see firmware version 170. Hopefully this will solve Yanni's headaches and problems. Let's see if it allows us to use this bad boy as a webcam. Now, let's flip the screen backwards so I can see what's going on here. Again, this may be a bad move using the Sony camera cable because it may just have some, I know there's some sort of circuitry or something in here that, in this cable that probably plays with what you can do on Sony. But ooh, this picture is so sexy, man. This joint is pretty. All right, we got a focus picture. Let's just, oh man, Canon looks so much sexier than this Sony. I'm sorry. I miss you, Canon. I really do miss you. Baby, you want to trade cameras?
Hell no.
You sure?
100% positive.
That doesn't sound very nice.
It
All
sounds
right. So here we're gonna turn. We have the Canon EOS Web utility selected as a video source. If you remember in OBS, I've had it set to invisible by clicking the little eyeball icon. Now I'm gonna click the eyeball icon to make it visible again. Hopefully that'll just kick it in so that on screen we can see what's going on with the Canon. Boom, we got it. We have liftoff, and looks like we have the ability to focus. Yep, focus isn't working too well for me right now because my glasses are foggy. So I will try and focus that in a minute. I want to look up here in my tray to see if there's a Canon utility that shows up here. There's the Synology Drive client, antivirus, and what is this? This is Splice, TLDR. Not gonna tell you everything I got on my Mac. Reduce that attack surface, but we know the Canon works, right? So let's just get this up, and then we can do our other stuff. We see though that we got the Canon device working. I think I'm gonna stop the stream, get this set up properly, and come back and do the reading, breaking the habit of being yourself. So I'll check back in, and before I do that reading, maybe I'll do some more updating stuff. Probably not though, because like I said, I want to get off to doing more relaxing stuff, so I'm ready for this evening's work with the squad, with the crew for Great Space. So yeah. I will holler at y'all later. Thank you. Talk to you shortly. I'm gonna go set up the camera